Hey everybody, Jeremy here. Today I'm going to be trying out a portable clothes dryer that I found over on Temu, and here it is right here. It's very small in its stature, and as far as the price goes, this one costs around $36. There's different versions on Temu that you can go for, but if you find yourself interested in this particular version, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can find it. Now I thought that this could potentially make a good pairing to go along with the portable and collapsible washing machine that I also found on Temu some while back, and I still use it from time to time and it still works. So if you find yourself traveling, you're in an RV, you want to wash a few clothes and dry a few clothes while you're on the road, this could be something that's useful to you. Or if you're going to be staying in a hotel, you want to wash and dry some clothes and you don't want to pay their facilities to do it, then this pair might help you out. Or if you just don't have access to a traditional washer and dryer and you just need to wash a few shirts and maybe a pair of pants, some socks or something, and you want to dry them as well, again, this pairing might be for you. All right, so first, let me show you everything that you're going to get with this particular package. So this is the version with the digital display, and along with that, you're also going to get a remote control. So if you don't want to actually go up to the machine and press the buttons, you can use the remote to do that. And this is the top of the machine. It has this hook right here that you can use to hook onto like a shower bar or just something that's not pressed up against the wall, but something that you have some distance between it and a wall. But there's your hook. You can hook it up like that. And then over on the bottom, there's this lid that you can take off. And inside, you are going to find the power cord, that's the heating element, and you're also going to get this. This is the clothes cover that you can put your clothes in and you can zip it up. And when you turn this on, it has this heating element and a fan. So it's going to fill this bag full of hot air and it will help to dry your clothes. I'm going to test that out, of course, in this video. But the way that this works, oh, before I forget, you also get a place to hang up your stuff as well. So you see that they have these little notches on this handle, and then you can just simply stick your hangers in between these, and that's what's going to hold your clothes while they're being dried. Now, the way that this cover attaches to the machine, you see you've got like these 4 metal hoops that are on the end of this cover, and then on the inside of the machine it has these 4 entry points for those hooks. So you're going to have to put this upside down and then just take these, put them into these inserts here, and then just sort of push these past a little plastic tab to just sort of lock it into place. It took me about 10 seconds to connect the cover to the machine, and as you can see that there is a zipper right here that you can undo. It goes all the way down, so leave you with a pretty nice opening to put your clothes inside of the bag. And yeah, so at this point I'm going to take this over to the bathroom so that I can hang this on my shower bar, turn it on, go over the different functions that this can do, and then finally see how well it can dry clothes. So now I'm here in the bathroom and I'm going to show you how this thing works, and I'm going to be using the little remote control here. All right, so first let's turn it on. I'm going to hit the power button and you have to point it towards the machine for it to work. And as soon as I do that, you see that that says 480. That corresponds to the number of minutes this is going to be on for. So 480 minutes, but I can change that by hitting the little clock button on the remote, and that's going to change it to 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, 420, and then back to 480. What I can also do is if I hit the power button again, now it's going to say L02. That's basically a faster, higher function. And if I press it again, it turns off. So we're at L1, L01, L02, and then finally it goes off. The little light icon there is for a sanitation light that's on the inside. You can press that and then we'll be able to see it on the inside. Let me just unzip this. There's like a little blue, it's a very small, tiny blue light that's inside of there. I'm not sure if that does much of anything, but it will stay on for as long as the timer is active right there. So let me go ahead and just turn this off now. It's gonna take the fan a few seconds to turn off. But what I have here is a couple of t-shirts that I just washed inside of that Temu washing machine, and I have them on these hangers here. So what I did was I just washed them in the washing machine. In case you're curious, once it was done, I rinsed them out in the sink to get all the soap out, and then I just squeezed them out by hand. And I got a couple of shirts here, and they are nice and wet. If you want proof about how wet they are, I just got a little paper towel here, so I'm just going to squeeze this paper towel across them, and you can probably see that paper towel is nice and damp. So it is wet. These are not dry. So I'm just going to hang these up inside of this dryer. All right, and remember, it's got like that little stand, or it has that little handle there that I can hang these up next to. So I'm gonna hang one in the back, hang another one closer to the front, make sure that they are both in there. Still got plenty of space left. And let me zip this up. All right, and I am going to start this, and I'm gonna have it on that higher heat setting, which is L2. And I'm gonna have this running just for 60 minutes, and we're gonna see how that turns out. Now, my watch says that it is 8:35 right now. So I'm gonna come back at 9:35 and see how dry this is. And as you can probably see here, the bag is inflated a bit. It's not as flat. It's because that heat is inside of it, but at the same time, it does have little openings at the bottom, so the whole thing isn't just trapping heat. It can escape, but yeah, it is filling up with heat. And this bathroom's getting pretty warm, so I'll come back in an hour and we'll see how well it did. All right, so this says it has 20 minutes to go, and if you look at my watch, it says that it is 9:18. I wanted to fill you in on what happened, what's going on here. So I now have this on the very first speed. I think it was like L01, because when I had it on the 02 setting, it kept shutting itself off. So I wasn't too sure why it was doing that. I moved the shower curtain out of the way. I thought maybe it was causing a little bit too much heat, maybe, I'm not sure. But when I took it down to the lower speed, then it didn't shut off anymore. All right, so we are a few extra minutes into this than I originally started out, but it's still more or less the same. But it's 19 minutes left, and I wanted to check to see how the clothes are now. Are they dry? So let me I'm leaving it on just so we can see, just in case. And they're mostly dry, but it's still a little bit damp. Like down here at the bottom, it's still damp. So we still got the 19 minutes to go. So I'm gonna zip this right back up. But it is a lot drier than it was when I first started. So I'm gonna come back when this is done and we'll see how it did. All right, so that is about 60 minutes. Let's see if these are completely dry yet. And no, they are not yet completely dry. Let me just grab one shirt. So on this first shirt here, it's mostly dry up here up top. The sleeves are still a bit damp, and then at the bottom it's also damp. You can probably see the contrast in the colors between the top and the bottom. So 60 minutes on that lowest setting is not going to do it. We're going to have to keep it in there for a little bit longer. And it's pretty much the same thing with this shirt too. It's more dry on the top than it is on the bottom. All right, so I'm just going to load this back up. And this time around, I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to keep track of how long that it takes for this to dry. So 1 hour didn't do it, but maybe about an hour and a half will. We'll see. So that has been about an hour and a half total drying time for these two shirts. So let me take a look and see how they are turning out right now. Let's see the bottom. Oh yeah. Yep, we are dry now. So let me go ahead and turn this off. And this was on the first fan setting because, like I said, the second setting, for some reason, it just kept shutting off the machine. But the shirt is now good and dry. There's the back. Nice and dry there. And now let's go for the one in the back. This one in the back, also good and dry. All right. Yeah, so took about an hour and a half to get it dry, but hey, if you're in no rush, it was an easy way to do it without a giant drying machine. So, yep, about an hour and a half for these two shirts, but I am wondering how long will it take to dry some jeans? So now I put 3 pairs of freshly washed jeans inside of here. I'm going to see how long it takes for this to dry. These are fresh out of the washing machine, not the Temu washing machine because that's too small. These were washed in a traditional washing machine. So 3 pairs of jeans. I'm going to set this on the basic speed mode. Start at 60 minutes and we'll see how long it takes for these to dry. So it's been in here for about 3 hours, and I'll tell you the breakdown of the times in a moment, but as you can probably see, it's still just a little bit damp here, like on this folded bit. They do say that when you hang up pants like this, that you're supposed to fold them and then hang them up, and that's what I've done. And although they're dry for the most part, they are not completely dry. Like right here, it's still pretty damp. Down at the legs is nice and dry, but it's really kind of just like these inside portions here. And as I go towards the back to get the last pair of pants, this one is the least dry out of them. It's a little bit damp down here at the legs. Like I said, these are about 90% dry, but they are not completely dry. And I have had them in here for about 3 hours on that first speed setting. All right, so I think those were a couple decent real world tests. And when you want to put everything back together, you can fit everything back in here. And that includes the cloth cover and the power cord. It's all contained inside here. So I like how nice and neat everything sort of packs away. Now, I did say that I was going to tell you what the breakdown was for the hours. So first of all, when it comes to the pants, the first hour, everything was still very much damp. You know, I wouldn't wear jeans like that. The second hour, they were dry on one half of the pants, like in the front, but then the inner part of the pants where I folded it over, that part was still pretty damp. Instructions do say to fold them over before you hang them up. So what I ended up doing was taking them out and folding them in the opposite direction and putting it back in there so that that other side can get dry. And then at hour 3, which I just showed, most of it was dry, about 90%. There was still a little bit of dampness depending on which pair I was looking at, down closer to the leg or on the back side where you would keep like a wallet or something like that, and a little bit at the waist. But like I said, it was about 90% dry. And I have to assume that if I was able to use the higher speed setting, then maybe things would have dried a little bit quicker. But I just wasn't able to do that because every time I tried to use the higher setting, it would run for about 3, maybe 4 minutes before it just shut itself off. It just started beeping and it shut itself off. And I'm guessing maybe that's some type of safety mechanism. Maybe it just can't handle itself while it's trying to do that. But when I used it at the normal speed, I was able to just let it go, and I never had a problem with it turning off. Though I do have to say that when you do hang this up, you do have to make sure that there's nothing blocking it. Even something as simple as my shower curtain, it provided enough obstruction to prevent the bag from completely inflating. And so in that case, you're definitely going to have to move everything out the way so that it's standing freely so that that entire bag can get inflated. But if you need to dry something that's not as thick and heavy as denim jeans, things like t-shirts, dress shirts, undergarments, things like that, you'll definitely be able to get them nice and dry within an hour and a half on that lowest speed setting. And if you're able to bump it up, I can only imagine that they'll be drier in an even quicker amount of time. So it's quite useful in that regard. And like I showed earlier, it does pack itself away pretty nicely. But you got to remember, this is still an inexpensive product, and whether or not it stands the test of time has yet to be seen. That washing machine that I have, it still runs just fine. I still use it from time to time, so I'm happy with it. So time will tell if this will have the exact same fate. But if you're interested in picking up one of these compact portable dryers, check out the link in the description so you can find this exact model on Temu, and you can also see if there's some other similar models with maybe some slightly different features or a slightly different look or color that you might be also interested in. Now, if you do find yourself interested in these portable drying solutions, I am going to have another video coming up that is going to be geared specifically for drying shoes. So that's another Temu product I'm going to try out and see how well it does. But until then, be sure to subscribe if you want to see when that video comes out and other videos in the future. So thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.